also an author. And I'm the founder and director of BeHealing.com. BeHealing, an international healing business where I empower people to heal themselves. And as Melissa said, this has come from me following my own healing path and healing myself from a really traumatic childhood and many things that have happened to me through my life. And through that, and through the direct guidance that I've been able to get from my, well, I call them angel guides, but it's source, it's higher self, it's any of those things. I developed this ability to be able to talk directly to source or angel guides, and they help me through the healing process directly. Not only that, they told me not to go to other human beings for my training, just to get it directly from them in all of my healing abilities. And this has made the information that I get really pure. And so I started helping other people probably about 12 years ago to heal themselves. And they would come to me, not professionally at first, they would come to me for help, knowing that I'd been through many of the things that they were going through. And I would start to hear their higher selves, their angel guidance coming through. And so I developed this ability to be able to not just hear my own guidance, but hear other people's guidance. And that's what a psychic ability is about. So many people think that being a psychic is about predicting the future. And that's just entertainment. Anybody that's doing that psychic work, they're just entertainers, because we're all creating our lives with our energy. And so our thoughts, our feelings, what we do and what we say, but also with the total energy that we've had through our whole lives, which means if you've picked up issues along the way, through childhood or whenever, they're part of your energy. Unless you consciously face those and own them in order to understand them and then release them, then they're part of your energy, and you're going to manifest and create your life with those issues rather than with what you're trying to think and manifest with your conscious mind. And so this is where I come into it. Using my psychic abilities, I can help people to figure out what it is and where it comes from for these issues. So it might be somebody comes to me saying, my business isn't growing, I seem to have a big block on expanding or bringing people to me. And I contact their higher selves or their angel guides, and they tell me what it is, what those blocks are, usually emotional, usually from way past, that their subconscious is completely blocked out. And so I can guide people through this healing process to own it, first of all, and then release it. And so it's really powerful, and it has huge effects. And so what I wanted to come here today to talk about was spiritual parenting, because what happens is all of us tend to be born in situations or around the people who are going to give us the lessons that we need. So our higher selves has decided that we want to put ourselves in that situation so that we experience those issues, so that we can more easily find what our higher selves really want us to do. And so even though you're creating your life, and it's up to you what you decide you want to experience in life, your higher self, your spirit, always knows what it is that your spiritual mission, what your goal is here. And when you're born, when you're incarnated here, your human self forgets about that. But luckily, the link between the higher self and the human aspect of us has a built-in mechanism to be able to understand or be able to follow the path to be aligned with your higher self. And so that's to find your spiritual goal. And that mechanism is our emotions. And so when something feels good, when something makes us excited, when something fills us with joy, then that's the right direction to go in. When something feels bad, it's just saying you're not going in the right direction. And so this could be really interesting for people to understand at first, because a lot of people have this idea that life is meant to be hard and that we've got to struggle through, and you only really deserve something if you struggle. And that's not the case at all. And so when this applies to children, and being a parent to children, it's important to know that only the individual has their inner guidance, to show them what they want to do in life, dependent on their likes, their passions, what comes easily to them. And many parents will try to help the child out by getting them to focus on what they're not good at, to improve that, or what they have difficulty, what they don't find easy, and help them to improve that. So we end up with just this homogenized society, all passing on their issues to everybody else. And if instead we can understand, and this is what I've got from my guides, is that as parents we're here to provide shelter, we're here to provide food and loving support, and that's about it. Everything else is the responsibility of the child. They're not some new kind of spirit that we need to help or spiritually guide in any way. They've got it all inside of them. We don't have it inside of us to answer their questions. And so the best thing you can do as a parent is firstly to allow your child to follow their own path. Let them follow the things that they really enjoy, the things that they like, the things that become easy to them, and just allow them to do that and encourage them to do that. And so if you're kind of coming from the background of where you haven't done that, where you've been working on the things that have been difficult for you, the things that you don't really like, to try and improve yourself, the child's going to follow that, and then when you allow them to be themselves, they're going to see that you're not doing it. And so children are like sponges, and they don't necessarily listen to the words. They watch what we're doing and how we're living our lives. And so the most important aspect of being a parent is to be active in your own life path. And so for instance, you'd have a family with the parents that have grown up with not so supportive parents, the parents that were trying to be supportive, but they weren't really supporting them to be who they really are. And so they've gone through life and they're kind of in jobs that they don't really enjoy, but they're trying to improve those aspects that they're not really good at. And then they have children, and they think, well, if only I'd have done this and that maybe would have been right. And so they teach the children what they've done and what they should have added to it. They teach the children their path instead of focusing themselves on their own path and doing those things themselves and allowing the child to do the same thing. And so this being a role model to the children is best to be really self-focused. And that kind of goes against what it feels like to be a parent, because you want to help them and give them as much as you can. But knowing that their inner guidance is the only way that they're going to be able to find out what's good for them in life, lets you kind of take a back seat and leave it up to them and just encourage them to follow what it is that they're really enjoying. And another aspect of this is, I'm also a medical intuitive, and so people come to me when they've got health issues and tell me about their symptoms rather than a diagnosis, and then I talk to their higher selves and find out what's really behind it. And so what my guides have told me about health is that our physical bodies are just an expression, or just a translation of our spiritual energy, of our emotional and spiritual energy. And so every health symptom, any kind of problem that we're having within our bodies, is a manifestation of an emotional or a spiritual issue that's inside of us. And so when people come to me for help with medical intuitive stuff, it tends to be like emotional issues often from a long time ago. So what happens with the universe is you're going on through life and the universe is trying to give you messages of which direction to go in next. And if you're not listening to those signs, then it'll come a point where you've had so many signs that the universe just puts something in your body to remind you of it. And so everyone knows this. Everyone's experienced this. You work too hard. You're working too many hours, you're working too hard, and you get a cold. Okay? And so before the cold sets in to stop you, you've had many signs before that to stop, to ease up on the work. And it's only when you don't listen to that that you get a cold. And it's the same with any and every illness. And as far as family is concerned, the important thing to know about that is that what doctors may think is hereditary diseases or hereditary susceptibility to things, and they're looking at the body, which is an expression of our total energy, and they're finding something saying, oh, you're going to get this. What they're actually seeing from a spiritual point of view is that that's already started to manifest within you from issues that are within the parent that have been passed on to the child through teaching them to be like themselves. Okay? And so, for instance, a big issue that I had years ago was empowerment, because I was with a very controlling family. And so I played the victim. I played the victim role in that. And had children, because everybody has children before they're sorted, because we're never sorted, we're never perfect. You're not expected to wait until you've found your true role before you have children. We're all here to learn, and we all need to have these issues around us in order to grow. And so when I had my children, because my way of dealing with controlling types, which I was attracting to me because I was a victim, was passed on to my daughter specifically. She picked up that same way of dealing with it because she had controlling people around us too, because they were in the family. And she watched me and how I dealt with that, and she copied the same thing. Okay, and so she's picked up just from learning about the way that I deal with things, that same kind of issue. And the only way that she can deal with that issue now is by seeing me having dealt with it myself, so that she can follow that same pattern. And so it's these kind of emotional issues that are just passed on, and you don't mean to pass it on, it's just that you haven't realised it within yourself first, and so the child just picks it up. It's these issues and the child not learning how to deal with it because the parent isn't, that cause these hereditary diseases, what is termed as hereditary diseases. And so, to me, the healing path is just the most important thing that anybody can do for themselves. It just changes every aspect of your life. Just everything about your life, about the people that you manifest around yourself, about your business and abundance, everything is connected to you releasing these issues. And so that's why I do what I do, because I'm really passionate about it myself. I probably work on myself about 3 hours a day at least, still, and through that, and I work on other people as well. You know, I have plenty of clients a day as well, and help those through. And so I can pass on that wisdom that I've got and that connection that I've got, and also the specifics about their particular situation, which maybe their subconscious is blocked out, because the subconscious has this way of protecting us. And so if there's something too traumatic, the mind thinks it's just too traumatic to deal with, it just shuts the door and doesn't allow you to have access to that anymore, even though it still has this manifestational effect in your life. It's still manifesting conditions that you don't want in your life, or people that are around you, or disease, or whatever it is. And so I can unlock those doors. As long as our higher self says they're ready for it. Sometimes people aren't ready for it. But if they give me the information, then the customer's ready for it, and we can work through that together to be able to release it. And that happens really quickly. Once it's out in the open, when they've got the right people around them to help them, it happens really quickly. If that happens without the right people around them to help them, crisis. That's when somebody goes into huge health issues or just completely breaks down, and that's a really important time to have professionals or have healers around you when that crisis hits. And so I do sessions, and I've got international clients, and so I do most of my sessions via Skype. They're like coaching, psychic healing, all sorts of things into one session. It just depends on what the person really needs. And they're guided by their higher selves or their angel guides. And so it's very specific to the person. I also give emailed readings as well, which are good in another way. They're kind of good when people are starting off on their healing path, which is because when I give an email reading, you put it in a written form and you can read through it again and again. And if you read through it once every week for the next year, you will pick up more and more from that reading, because we can only take in where our vibrational level is at the time. And so those email readings are really important, as well as the one-on-one Skype stuff that I do. I've also written this book, which was published last year, and in fact I'm just in the process of publishing another one as well. But this is a year's worth of guidance that I was given, channeled information that I was given from myself and my guides, and I've put it in this 365 days of guidance form so that people can read the guidance for a particular day that it is, and maybe meditate on it, or just keep it in their conscious awareness for the day, and maybe read it at the end of the day as well. Or you can use it like an oracle tool, so you can use it to get the answers from your higher self. And so if you've got a particular issue, you can just think of that issue, or think of the question that you've got, and open it on a random page and get your answer from that. And so these are available. I'm quite happy to sign them for you as well. They're $30 for a copy of this book. The book that I'm publishing at the moment is about, it's called Beyond 2012, and I've written it because I've been getting guidance about the things that are happening this year, because there's a lot of fear-mongering going around that it's the end of the world and that there's going to be horrific things happening. And this fear-mongering is actually creating horrific things happening. So the amount of people that are thinking that and believing that are actually going to create that experience for themselves, but it's not necessary for everyone else to go through that. And so this book is channeled information from my guides about what's really going on this year and beyond.
Can you perhaps get your partner to do one for the children? Because my ex-husband sat my children down and let them watch whatever that movie is, 2012. I haven't watched it. I don't want a part of it. But it's about the main calendar ending, I think. Has anyone watched it?
Yeah.
Terrible thing to have your 10, 11 and 12-year-old kids sit down and watch. And my daughter was watching the news the other day. She said, "Look, Mum, see all the floods, it's happening. It's really the end of the world." I said, "Oh, no, it's not." And, you know, and it's, I mean, we can reassure them, but it would be lovely to have some sort of book or for children, you know. And
this book will just appeal to those that are kind of ready to hear that it's not for everybody, because you see what's happening is that we're kind of being divided into two. The fear-based people that are saying all that kind of things need that experience, just like we've all in our lives needed a fear-based kind of experience in order to want something better for ourselves. Just like I experienced a terrible childhood because I wanted to be a healer. I wouldn't have had the desire to be a healer without experiencing that. And so we've all needed that fear-based kind of experiences to be able to grow. And there's some spirits here that still need that, okay? And so it's not about trying to convince everybody to be positive. It's not just allowing them to do that, but switching off on it completely and focusing on what you want to believe and what you want to experience. So there's definitely going to be a division between what one half of the population of Earth are going to experience and what the other half are going to experience. So if anyone's got any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I agree with you. I just think we create our own energy. We are energy.
Yeah.
You know, so when we wake up, it's a video like the secret to keep your toe, keep the cat, or you have a fight with your husband, or you have a cold shower, whatever it is. It's, you choose your own destiny. You choose your own thought patterns for the day. So if we wake up, we want to have a great day. Debbie is going to give me a great day. And all the energy that I allow into my life. All the good things. Because I wake up as a grumble bug, you know. Well, it's because we do, don't we? You know, and yet you don't have that attitude of gratitude. But at the end of the day, only one person to one.
It is hard though, I must admit. You can have that and wake up and, you know, hear people say they don't get out of bed before they, you know, say their positive affirmations, what they're grateful for. But, you know, like for instance, someone like Nellie who's just had, like, you know, everything's hitting you at once and it's like, well, you just feel so sucked, like drained. It's hard to get back to that point of...
This book has affirmations for every day in it as well, and there's an important thing to say about affirmations because a lot of the time they don't help. And so affirmations that are the opposite of what you're experiencing, so say an affirmation like, I am a millionaire, it's never going to work because it's not true, okay? Affirmations have to be the truth at the point that you're at the time to work. And so if you're saying, I'm grateful for having an abundant business with plenty of clients, and that's not what you're experiencing, then there's an energy mismatch there, and that's not going to bring you what you want. But if you affirm that you are where you're at right now, and where you're at right now is good because you're on your way to having a successful business, that feels completely different, and that's a really good affirmation to give because it's truth and it's acknowledging that you're happy where you are, which is what real appreciation is. Knowing that you're always on a path from a completely forgetful human being to your higher purpose, and just accepting that where you are on the path is good and right, no matter what you're experiencing. And so yeah, the real trick to it is to be truthful about where you are right now and accept that, and have wishes for the future and be completely open to having those experiences. And so affirmations sometimes can be done completely, but they just don't work. When you're affirming something that's just not true, and you're only trying to say thank you for something that's not true, it's just an energy mismatch. It's not creating anything.
So that's interesting. Yesterday I had to drive my sister to Maroochydore. She flew down from Cairns to go to a CWA meeting in Maroochydore. And I picked her up from my other sisters because she couldn't take her. And Christine said, oh, have you seen the weather forecast? You know, it's pretty dramatic. And I said, yeah, I saw it on the TV, it's cool. You know? And she said, no, come and have a look at it. Like, you have to have it. Like, she's trying to drag me in. And I said, well, she's my older sister. So I said, no, I don't need to see it. It's fine. And she said, no, Debbie, you have to come and have a look at it. So I went in and I had a look at it and I went, I said, it's cool. Because I didn't just want to take it on board, you know. So we drove to Maroochydore. I just went 90, just said 110. Cruised along, had a few little situations of really heavy rain. So slowed down. Then we got there and the ladies had cancelled the meeting. But that's okay, of course, Christine had came all the way. There was a few people there and they did it. But again, what I just would like to share, I just chose not to take that on. Like she kept saying, you know, do you think we should go? And like there was, you could see a bit of a fear factor in her face and her words. And I just turned around and said, well, it's your choice, because I'm driving. No, so if you don't want to go, that's fine by me. So I didn't, and my husband made me, they're okay, it's all that sort of fear factor, and I know they're concerned for you. I just said to him, I said, I'm a great driver. That's what I said. I didn't say anything else. And so it's not easy to do it, but I tell you, if you consistently work on it, because sometimes we don't live in environments that support us, it can certainly just change your life.
Yeah. I worked in Uganda for a while, and there was a time that I went there with my 12-year-old son full time. He was the only one of my children. I'd asked them, did they all want to go, and he was the only one that said he wanted to go. So he came along with me, and we were working at an orphanage with a medical centre attached to it. I was taking computers over and teaching the staff how to use them. And there were two other English people that were working there at the time as well. And so one came with me and the other one was already there working. And when we arrived and we sat down with the one that was already working, she said, everybody's dying of malaria and AIDS put together. malaria is getting people, somebody in this complex, which was probably about 200 people there, is killing somebody in this complex once a week, or one of their family once a week. And it's not about a matter of when you're going, or if you're going to get it, it's when you're going to get it. And so this guy that I've gone along with, he was like, yeah. My son's like, no. And I said, come on with me to my son. I went into the room and I said, we're not going to get malaria, don't listen to that, you know. We don't need to experience that. And so I completely changed his mind about it. Anyway, a week later, both of them had malaria. My son started getting symptoms of malaria, and I took him to the medical centre and they tested and they said, no, you've not got it. And so that belief in him was enough to not get it, even though his mind had started giving him the symptoms, because there was still a bit of fear there. But yeah, we both didn't get malaria the whole time. And we went on, we were there too long to take the drugs to stop it. But I did get bitten. I had a bite on my leg which actually came the size of an egg on my shin, and so my body was fighting it off, because your immune system fights off parasites as well as other diseases if that's trying to get in and you're not an energetic match to it. And so yeah, it was really interesting to see the dynamics of that, of how that belief system and the buying into that fear worked so quickly and how it kind of manifested in my son as well, because he wasn't quite sure. He believed me more than them because I'm his mum, so yeah, it's we got through that.
Okay. Any questions, anyone? Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks.